Doggo.
Today was a very eventful day. Today was the day that O.J. Simpson passed away. Now, if you don't know who O.J. Simpson is, you've most likely been living under a rock for a very long time, or you're maybe a bit too young to know who O.J. Simpson is. So let me give a bit of a background about this man. During the 70s, he was arguably one of the greatest running backs of all time in the NFL. Like, his stat line and his achievements during his career were fucking phenomenal. As an NFL player, were great. MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, 5-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, and then he rushed for 11,000 yards in his whole entire career. And there was also 1 year where he rushed for 2,000 yards. 2,000 yards in one season. But if you ask anyone, if you ask a normal person who's not a NFL follower, who just doesn't follow the NFL and is a normal person, you ask, what is O.J. Simpson known for? He is known mostly for the notorious, the infamous case that happened during the 90s, where he was on trial for supposedly murdering his wife and her friend. Like, if you don't know to the extent of how big the O.J. Simpson trial was, like, everyone remembers from a couple years ago, the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. Imagine that, but like fucking way more serious and way more bigger. Like, this whole entire thing, the whole entire O.J. Simpson trial was not just national news in America, it was worldwide news. Like, this had the entire country of America, and maybe the entire world, split in fucking half. Like, it literally split the black and white community so much. Like, this is a photo from the Oprah Winfrey show of the trial of when it like came out and it was announced that he was found not guilty, of where every single white person in America was like, how the fuck was he not guilty? And every black person in America was like, he wasn't found guilty, yeah! Like, the whole entire country was fucking split over it. But even though he was found not guilty, so many people over the years have pretty much come to the conclusion for themselves, said that, you know, O.J. Simpson is guilty for this trial. He 100% fucking did it. He himself did it. He literally got away with fucking murder. And today, after his death, Twitter had a fucking field day. I knew it. The moment, legit, I went on Twitter today, and all I saw for this whole entire day of me, like, while I'm recording this video, like the day of recording this, because it's gonna go a day after I finish recording this video. But before the whole entire day, all I saw was just shit on O.J. Simpson. And oh my god, like, when someone this polarizing dies, you already know that Twitter is gonna have a fucking field day. So let's have a look at some of the best tweets from this day. Right here, Satan himself. That's right, Satan, the Lord of Hell, or whatever his nickname is, tweeted. I love this page, by the way, this Satan page. It's fucking hilarious. Man says, O.J. Simpson just arrived down here. What the fuck? OJ, after fighting his way through hell to find the guy who killed his wife. And it's that scene, I think this is in Ragnarok, where Kratos is just staring at a younger self. This one right here is Rip O.J. Simpson, and it's just got a lot of many polarizing and people who have done a lot of bad things throughout their lives. I mean, I don't know what, Elvis Presley? I think it's the only one that I don't really understand too much. Maybe it's because I've been, I've always seen Elvis Presley in a good light. I'm pretty sure, actually, yeah, didn't he marry his wife at like a very young age, or like, yeah, she was like extremely young when they first met and he was like a lot older. So yeah, actually, I do see that. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This one, oh my god, Aaron Hernandez greeting O.J. Simpson in hell. If you don't know, Aaron Hernandez, he also committed murder. He was an NFL player during like I think it was the early 2010s or the late 2000s, and he like was convicted of killing 2 people, and then he later like offed himself in jail. Another one from the Satan page as well. O.J. Simpson in hell, finally confronting the guy who did it. Chris Benoit seeing O.J. Simpson entering hell. If you don't know who Chris Benoit is, he was a former WWE wrestler, and he had severe CTE, where he ended up killing his partner and his child and then hanging himself. So I could definitely see why this would be related to that, because, you know, O.J. Simpson has, you know, supposedly been Well, he was proven innocent, but obviously, majority of the internet. I'm not here to give my opinion on if he did it or not. I don't want to be that guy, and I don't want to make this video about like if he did it or not. I mean, I will show a couple posts about that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Also, as well, Caitlyn Jenner, who, if you don't know, so if you don't know the even more, this is how big like the OJ Simpson law like for the case is massive. So Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce Jenner, was married to Kris Jenner. And Kris Jenner, before she was Kris Jenner, was Kris Kardashian. And Kris Kardashian was married to one of OJ Simpson's lawyers. I can't remember. I think his name was Robert Kardashian. So he was the Kardashians' original dad was one of the lawyers for OJ Simpson. And Caitlyn Jenner came out and tweeted today saying, "Good riddance, hashtag OJ Simpson." And a lot of people were shitting on Caitlyn in her comments. I mean, a lot of people, even people in the trans community, don't like Caitlyn Jenner. And I also saw this as well, is Shannon Sharp, who is a Hall of Fame tight end in the NFL, and he has like a little pretty much like a podcast that he does with Ocho Cinco, and they like mentioned this tweet, and then Ocho Cinco was talking about how Caitlyn Jenner killed some people just a couple years ago. Not just a couple years ago. I think it was like almost 9 years ago now. I think it's when she was still like before she transitioned. So when she was still like Bruce Jenner, and she killed some people in a car accident, and they were kind of like clowning on her for saying like, how can you say this about OJ Simpson when you yourself like killed people? So I also saw this as well, is this comedian, Norm Macdonald's, and he was on Weekend Update for SNL back in the 90s. And he used to be on Weekend Update. And there's an 11-minute compilation that I found on Twitter of all it is for 11 and a half minutes, and I watched a bit of it, is just him making jokes about how OJ Simpson did it. And I saw someone else tweet this saying it like made it out like Norm said it himself, and it said, "Tonight we report the unfortunate passing of NFL legend OJ Simpson. May he rest in peace. On a more positive note, sources say that the real killer has been found dead." There's also as well, we can't take away from the trial that the fact that OJ Simpson supposedly murdering his wife or being innocent, whatever your thoughts on it are, is that even though it's a bad thing that, you know, someone was murdered, is that the OJ Simpson chase gave us one of the greatest cinematic scenes of all time, where Shrek 2 themselves basically did a whole reimagining of the OJ Simpson chase, where instead of OJ getting chased, it's Shrek on top of Donkey, where Shrek gets turned into a human and Donkey gets turned into a horse. I mean, that in Shrek 2 is a great movie, and that scene to me just elevates it, and the fact that it's like a parody of the OJ Simpson chase is fucking hilarious. I also saw this tweet as well, which I found very interesting. So apparently, one of the jurors that was on the OJ Simpson trial spoke out, and there's clips that are going around on Twitter. I think these are from a while ago as well, is that she admits that the jury thought that OJ was guilty, but apparently the jury acquitted him as it was an act of revenge for beating of Rodney King. So if you don't know who Rodney King is, this was also, basically Rodney King is the 90s George Floyd. Like, that is literally the way to say it. Legitimately, Rodney King was the 90s George Floyd, where Rodney King, he was beaten, like extremely beaten the fuck out of. So he was in a police chase. I think he was caught for speeding, and the police got him. And when they got him, instead of just arresting the man, which I mean, he was speeding, so you'd arrest him. Instead of just arresting him, they pulled him out of the car, and someone ended up filming it, and they just beat the shit out of this guy for no reason. Legitimately. Like, if you've seen the footage of Rodney King, they pulled this man out of the car and they just beat the living fuck out of this guy. There's like 6 police guys. So they did this as a revenge for like the police beating up Rodney King. And I think like the police ended up getting like some charges against them, but it's the whole thing with like George Floyd, and it caused like a whole load of riots, and them like wanting to, supposedly what she said is that they acquitted him as revenge for, you know, the police beating up Rodney King. And then I also saw this video that was going around of an interview that was done with OJ Simpson. And at one point, he surprises the interviewer by, when she opens up the door, pretending to stab her with a fucking knife. I mean, the dude's face in that video. I mean, like I said, I'm trying to be as in the middle as possible, and trying to say, like, you know, if he did kill his wife or not. But look at this man's face. Look at this man's face. Oh my god. Like, how could you say that he didn't do it? Like, that's the face of a fucking psychopath. Holy fuck. Today has been a field day, but I wanna leave this video off with this guy's tweet right here. The final tweet is that, did OJ Simpson kill 2 people? Yes. But he's the only man to ever run for 2,000 yards in a 14-game season. Also, yes, and that's what really matters. Yep. That's apparently what actually really matters, is the fact that he ran for 2,000 yards in 14-game season. Like, holy shit. Yeah, he killed 2 people. Yeah, he probably did. You know what? He probably did do it. He probably did fucking do it. But he ran for 2,000 yards in a 14-game season, and that'll never be done again. But I'd like to hear what you guys have to think about this down below. Give me your funny OJ Simpson things. Give me some jokes. Give me some OJ Simpson things down in the comments. I mean, if you want to say if he did it or didn't do it, let me know in the comments as well. But that's it from me, guys. Peace out.